In the United Kingdom, 1927. A crowd waits for a performance to begin. The host apologizes for the delay and going backstage. Furiously tells a lady called Nafisa to call Ayush, who has locked himself in a room. They break the door down to find out that Ayush has slit his wrist. Then the film goes in flashback. When he was in Bombay, a wealthy man, Mr. Wadia, discovers Ayush's incredible talents and asks him to take care of his mansion, Wadia Manor in York, in return of which he would pay for Ayush's educational expenses. Ayush is overjoyed to hear this and heads towards his journey to the mansion. Ayush is warmly received by both the housekeeper and the caretaker of the house. Ayush is more delighted to enter the York College of Music. 3 months later, Ayush is doing some paperwork when he is hit with an onslaught of paranormal activities. Closed doors open by themselves. Lights start flickering. Ayush sees a white light beckoning him to come closer. But he is always stopped by a woman's scream. He encounters a message written with dried blood in a room. He enlists help of Rose, a fellow student at the college who possesses a second sight. As both investigate, they realize the secrets that they both have kept individually about events of the preceding 3 months have more consequences, and they both might have a deeper connection with the current hauntings than they can imagine. Ayush informs her that he can hear voices of a machine, and he can see a white light calling to him, but as soon as he goes near he hears a woman's scream, which prevents him from touching the light. He narrates what happened 3 months ago when he arrived at the mansion. He allowed the villagers to enter the mansion and listen to his music for some money. One day his actions were discovered by Meha Wadia, Mr. Wadia's niece, and she blackmailed him into giving her a performance or she will have him fired. During the performance that night, she gave Ayush a poison and tried to dump him at a place so that he could die a slow death. But Ayush hit her, making her unconscious. While coming back to the mansion, he saw a supernatural being on the way and lost control over the car, resulting in a car accident in which Meha died. To his surprise, nobody confronted him about Meha's death. Later these paranormal events began. Rose conducts an investigation on the basis of Ayush's story. She learns that Meha Wadia never visited York. During their investigation, Ayush and Rose fall in love with each other. Some time later Rose reaches a hospital in which she discovers that the Meha Wadia who visited Ayush was actually their classmate Tina, who had been dead for 3 months. When she sees the date of her death, she is horrified. She confesses to Ayush that all the bad things are happening to Ayush due to her. She narrates how her and Nafisa's roommate Vasudha was in love with a married man named Richard. But he was not ready to divorce his wife. One day she happily informed her friends that Richard was going to marry her as Richard's wife left him. But Rose was visited by the spirit of Richard's wife and was told that Vasudha had murdered her. She informed Richard of this, which was discovered by Vasudha, and she committed suicide. They tried to save her and admitted her into a hospital. But she eventually died and her spirit got hold of Tina's body, who was admitted in the same hospital. She had been tormenting Ayush since she knew that Rose was in love with him. Rose and Ayush become convinced that they have to get rid of Vasudha's spirit, and so they decide to visit a church. Vasudha attacks Nafisa, which prompts Rose to take her to a hospital where she makes another horrific discovery. She finds that Ayush is admitted into the same hospital and has been in a coma since the night Meha Wadia attacked him. Rose informs Nafisa that she has been communicating with Ayush's spirit all along. She explains that when the human body is in deep sleep, its spirit wanders off. but they are connected through a rope in the form of a white light. Eventually the spirit can re-enter the body by touching it. Ayush's spirit has tried to enter its body, but Vasudha has all along prevented it from happening. The next day Ayush's body was going to be removed from life support, which would result in his death. Rose takes a hair of Ayush to make it touch Ayush's spirit. But as she is about to leave the hospital, Vasudha's spirit takes control of Ayush's body. She threatens Rose that she will destroy Ayush's body if she leaves. She tortures Rose by hurting Ayush's body. Rose informs Vasudha that she knew she would not be able to leave, and then she kills herself. Her spirit appears and reveals that she has already sent Ayush's hair and a letter to Ayush through Nafisa. Rose fights and destroys Vasudha's spirit. At the same time, Ayush's spirit enters his body and he is saved. The film goes back to where it has started. Ayush in a death-like state meets Rose and tells her that he wants to be with her. Rose tells him that he has to live and spread his music for her. She asks it as a return for her sacrifice. Ayush eventually recovers and becomes a renowned pianist and musician.